Good evening, my friends. This is Paul, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing Time Hollow for the Nintendo DS. Special thanks to Gamefly for letting me review all of these super unknown DS games that only Nintendo Power readers would probably know about. Anyway, if you're a long-time viewer of my video game reviews, you'll know that one of my favorite genres is the visual novel one. Time Hollow is no exception. It's the kind of game where this could probably be a novel and you'd enjoy it just as much. Thankfully, the power of the DS and its innovations allows this novel to play out using the strengths of the system. So, to try to give away as little story as possible, because telling even just a little bit kind of ruins the experience, but you're controlling an upcoming 17-year-old named Ethan Kairos, and he receives a mysterious object known as the Hollow Pen. When he uses it, he can use it to create holes into the past to change that past somehow. And you literally get to use the DS stylus to draw a circle on the screen and then interact with whatever happened in the past. Thankfully, the two screens of the 3DS, well, I played it on a 3DS, it was originally for a DS, display image of the present and the past, so that way it's easy to figure out where to circle the hole. Now granted, you can make mistakes, and every time you close up a hole, even if it's a successful one, some of Ethan's life bar depletes, so you have to really think carefully about where exactly you're going to go into the past. Thankfully, you can prevent a game over pretty easily by just wandering around the map, and you can find Ethan's cat, Socks, who can refill one inkling of your health bar. I never ended up having any problems with the game over, though there were occasional times where I'd be just a few pixels off from what I was looking for, but a little poking and prodding eventually helped solve the day. So the biggest problem with this game is not so much its story, which is amazing by the way, but the way in which you proceed through the story. It's, in essence, many of the same problems I had with Zero Time Dilemma's progression, and that's, the story is amazing. Like, if you're any fan of parallel worlds or time travel, you're going to absolutely love this game. But the problem is that you do a lot of walking around and backtracking, and there are very, very few locations you can go to, so you'll find yourself revisiting the same old places over and over again. It also doesn't help that the loading times between each area, which shouldn't even be a thing in a DS game, drag out the game for far longer than it should be. You'd probably be able to complete this game in an afternoon if it weren't for all the walking around and pointless tapping. Not only that, but sometimes during a conversation you have to ask the same question multiple times before you can get an answer, and there's no checkmark system like in the recent Ace Attorney titles, so sometimes you might have to repeat a conversation or go to a place later and find that something has changed. The game tries to mess with your mind a lot, and it also doesn't have a memo about what you're supposed to do next. So this is the kind of game that if you're one of those people that has a time limit on how much you can play video games, you really need a notebook if you're going to keep track of everything. There was a time today that I set the game down to go and do something else, and when I came back I was briefly like, wait, what was I supposed to do again? And since I tried to beat the entire game in one day, that only happened to me once, but I'm sure it must be a pain for people that might need to take a break or sit things out a lot more. Thankfully, the game gives subtle clues if you know where to look for them, but this tends to get only better as the game progresses. So, if you have a frustrating time at the beginning being like, what am I supposed to do? Be assured that it gets fixed. Thankfully, Time Hollow sounds really amazing for a DS title. The game has a fully vocalized opening and ending theme complete with live performances. And the voice actors are okay. I mean, it's compressed because it's a DS game, but there are little blurbs of voice text here and there. And there are also fully animated cutscenes that are, well, nothing new if you've played a Japanese anime game, but at least they're not as cheesy as, say, Tokyo Mirage Sessions. The music, on the other hand, gets really, really grating. This is probably the epitome of easy to forget DS music. It basically just gets the job done and that's about it. The game also really excels at atmosphere. Despite the fact that most of the environments are really blurry, the game has little animation boxes on the top screen to show like the gestures the characters are making, and very rarely do the gestures overly repeat themselves. There's quite a lot of variety here in the art department, and for that I thank them. If it weren't for the absurd pacing and the overly grating music, I would say that Time Hollow is a great game if you like the visual novel genre and the concept of meddling with the past and seeing what consequences it does. So with that, it's super hard to find, so hopefully you'll find a rental service like I did. But if you're on the fence about this kind of game, I would definitely say rent it instead of buying it, because this type of genre might not be for everyone. Either way, if you do like that kind of genre, you're in for a real treat. With that, thank you very much for listening, and until next time, keep the faith, stay epic, God bless, and don't mess with time. Bye!